In every record there's a story to be told. Into the world of music and more. Music and melodies and memories are in store. From Elvis to polka, we have it all. And Kenny's music and more, you'll have a ball. You'll have a ball. You'll have a ball.
Good evening, everybody. We are live. We have another great album tonight, so hopefully you are ready. Brad.
Do you really mean that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he does.
I absolutely do. I would not say it if I didn't mean it, because kind of like Nixon, I cannot tell a lie. But with that, let me just say that with tonight's episode, we have Brad, or AKA Gunnar Nelson, is going to be doing our record tonight. And so we'll just get right into it, Brad, and tell us what you picked, or Gunnar.
Well, I chose the 1971 release of David Bowie's Hunky Dory. There you can see the cover. This is the British reissue, it looks like, on RCA. I love how Clint, our video man, always picks pictures out and I get to figure it out. The originals have a black border on the cover. This album was released in December of 71, and it was actually finished after the Ziggy Stardust album, which was released in 1972. RCA pushed this record out ahead. I'm not sure why. I think they thought there was maybe some more commercial appeal, perhaps, or some hits in there or something, but it was his first for RCA. But I chose it mostly because of the songwriting, his capabilities as a songwriter, and technically this would be the fourth Bowie album in the canon. So, and it's one of my top 5 favorite Bowie albums. So anyway, I'm anxious to see what the guys have to say about it. It's an album that I bought when I was 13 years old. And after I heard Space Oddity, I felt like I needed to have all the records, So every time I could save some money up, I went and bought one. And the summer of 73, I was listening to this album along with Ziggy Stardust, and that was my summer of 73.
Here's a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Do you still have that one, though?
That particular copy? No, I do not. But I've found several originals since then. I kind of went through a cassette phase, and I had everything on tape. And then I realized when I bought a nice stereo, I realized that vinyl was much more reliable and much better. So I went back and started finding a bunch of originals. And this might be a good spot to talk about the pressing too. If you find an orange Dynaflex or a tan Dynaflex, those will usually do the trick. If you the original UK RCAs are very pricey now, and so you can get a good reissue. EMI put out their 100 Centurion series or whatever, the 100 years of EMI, and they did Hunky Dory and they cut it from the master tapes, and it's excellent. I think that came out in about 2010, but that's an affordable pressing and a very good one.
Explain to him real quick, what is Dynaflex?
Well, RCA records in about 1970 or so started a different process, and they made lightweight records, less mass. And now it's gone the other way. We've got 180 gram records that have mass to them, a thickness. Older records are like that, from the 50s and 60s. But for some reason, I want to say it's the energy shortage, but I don't think it was that at all. I just think the Dynaflex, they thought they could just make lighter or thinner records, and somehow maintain the sound. Some audiophiles very critical of this and claim they could hear the other side of the record playing backwards when because the pressings are so thin. They're 90 grams, and but actually you go back and listen to them, and they sound fine. I think people were just overly critical, but following the Dynagroove that RCA had in the 60s, they came up with Dynaflex, and then somewhere in 1977, 78, they got away. They moved away from that process. So that's what Dynaflex is.
Well, the record player people are excellent at hearing things that aren't there. So
Well, I will start because I want to get first word on this. I will say that Brad is probably one of my favorite records that I've listened to over our 2 years of doing this.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
surprised.
I really enjoyed it. So when you saw me looking like I was zoning out, I was just really, I was vibing.
You took Lance's advice and just soaked it in.
I just tried to suck it up,
Okay.
right? I was really amazed because I know some of you who listen to this are, you're all rockers, and I'm a popper. I'm sorry, with some rock, with some rap, and I like to listen to everything. And so, but I know some of these guys do too, so I gotta be careful with that.
Yeah. Be
But
careful.
I would just say I'm more predominantly that, not lightly in some of that. But so my first comment would be to say that never have I seen Brad so animated in any record. And Lance and I were rather enjoying his drum solo, his air drumming, his air bassing.
I'm so embarrassed.
He would even jump up a couple times to replay us a couple. Oh, you got to listen to this some more. He'd jump up and replay it for us. And so it was kind of a treat just to see Brad just in his zone with this album. So when he talks about that, I say you could feel that he was zoning with this. He loves
He's
this album.
Probably
it's 13 again.
Well, that's the thing. You get an album that's kind of seminal to you at a certain age.
Right?
When you listen to it, it's like
Brings you back.
being
Yeah.
13 again in your
And he
bedroom.
was 13 again. And I would say the thing that I was kind of like amazed with the album, right? There was like these constant evolving tempos and rhythms. Great piano, right? A lot of great piano playing on there. I also thought, the lyrics were very creative. Take more time for me to really kind of like get into and read them some more to see how much more I could really like the lyrics. But it was weird enough just listening to him the first time that it kind of was like, I wonder what he's going on with some of this right there, And the other thing that I really thought is that if you think about it, the overarching theme of this was a multitude of instruments and not just like a driving guitar, or driving drums. And so it was interesting to see all of the various things that would stick out at times, on this album. And so that is my thought. So I loved it.
Sam, Kenny actually dropped some good shit. No, I've been looking forward to Brad's first Bowie album. We knew it was coming, and yeah, you didn't disappoint. It was a fun one. Been trying to listen to more and more Bowie lately. Being familiar with the hits, obviously the stuff here on the radio and branching out. But no, this is a great album. It's very versatile, like you were saying. You really can't genre class this album, I don't think, because it's all over the place, different little flavors and tastes of everything. But it's definitely Bowie, and it's definitely got some weird stuff going on. But I liked it. It's a good album. I agree. It's one of my more favorite Bowie albums that I've.
The big song Changes
Yes.
is actually on this album, which really kind of became a hit a little bit later on and caught on with the
You can see it in
fans.
commercials and things now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember.
Life on Mars too, to some degree.
Yep, and I think I even made the comment to you. I was surprised when I found out that Life on Mars was on this album and not Ziggy Stardust. But then you talking about the timing of those albums makes sense. It was basically a leftover B-side track
Yeah.
that it seemingly they put on this one. But yeah, enjoyed it, liked it. I don't know if I have much more to say.
Michael.
Mike.
I liked it. I've never heard, this Bowie album, I've got Ziggy Stardust and Diamond Dogs. You know, I'm kind of partial to that early 70s glam. I wouldn't say this falls into that vein, but there's still some, you know, I would say like Life on Mars would fit in.
Yeah.
It was Ziggy Stardust. Queen Bitch would probably, I'd have to say, be my favorite song.
Sounds like
on the
Ziggy
album.
Stardust to
Sounds
me.
like,
Yeah.
Again, but being liking that early 70s glam, like T-Rex and New York Dolls, it, you know, fits right in there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to have to deep dive into this album. There's a lot of, you know, you said it's not really a rock-oriented album, but I think it kind of is.
I do too.
I think it's more rock than I was expecting when he said it's not a rock-oriented album. There's a lot of stuff like Oh You Pretty Things and Life on Mars that have these kind of quiet, slow verses, and then they explode into these choruses where it just kind of hits you in the face.
Yeah. I know Josh said too that some of them kind of sound like show tunes or what might be stage tunes, and that's part of the effect of some of those. Piano, by the way, by Rick Wakeman of Yes fame, and he was a session man.
So I would say my least favorite on that track would be the Fill Your Heart. I don't know if I like that, but that wasn't, you know, the only song on the album not written by
Bowie, right?
Bowie himself. So
Right.
yeah, this was probably of the albums we've listened to, this is probably the first one I'll probably look into a little more and personally
Grab a copy.
grab a copy.
Oh, that's me.
On the screen right now, before Josh goes, this is the German label, I believe.
Yep.
Another thing I'll mention about Bowie, this is just my perception of him, hearing him through the years, is vocal wise, he's kind of this chameleon. I mean, he's got so many different things, places he can go with his voice. It's just unbelievable. You know, he's not just a one-trick pony when it comes to his vocal style.
It's kind of this record, it's fantastic. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I've heard lots of it before, not sitting down though and actually listening to it. It's kind of a musical kaleidoscope. It kind of goes all over the place. And that's cool. That's really interesting. It goes back to kind of what Kenny was saying and how it doesn't, and on Lance, where doesn't really fit into a genre. So you've got, things that are influenced by the Velvet Underground or Bob Dylan or show tunes or it just goes all over the place, which makes it really unique and really kind of cool. And I think there's something for everybody on this record. You don't have to like all of it, just like any other record, but there's something for everybody on this. The songwriting is incredible. The musicianship is phenomenal. And the acoustic guitar sound on this record is something to be absolutely amazed by. Nobody can I have not heard a record that captures an acoustic guitar sound that goes very soft, meaningful, and then very powerful like that, and still stays clean and audible.
Yeah, that Andy Warhol track.
Yep,
That was really,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great
Who
combo.
engineered this? Was it Scott?
Ken Scott.
Scott.
Yeah.
So
He paid particular attention, I think, to the acoustic guitars from what I read.
well, and a lot of it is acoustic. There are a lot of acoustic instruments in it. We got violins, stand-up basses, you got pianos, you got acoustic guitars. So
I think even Andy Warhol sounded like they were doing almost like stomping their feet.
Yeah,
for
Which
sure.
was kind of, that reminded me of that. If you've ever heard the song Jeepster on Electric Warrior,
Yeah, it has
that same kind of
And the
effect.
that's right.
the last track was, and the thing I kind of saved for is that when I heard the first verse of the last track on here, I immediately thought of the White Album by the Beatles.
Oh,
Because it sounded like something that would have fit in, and it evolves, right? It evolves into something more very Bowie, more personal. But yeah, that first track, it was like, because we listened to Queen Bitch, and then we're like, oh, that's a great end song, and then there's one more on here, and yeah, that was the first thing I thought of, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then as it gets through the next couple verses, and then it really, really becomes a Bowie song, which I was actually quite happy with, that it didn't stay in that kind of genre. So
Didn't that kind of become a nickname thing for him and Iggy Pop, the
Yep, they're-
Bowie brothers?
yep.
Yeah,
What did?
The
the Bewley brothers.
Relay Brothers.
Actually, I think they did their publishing under that
Publishing,
name
yep.
too.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm not a huge old time Bowie fan. However, out of the 11 tracks on here, I found 3 that I really liked. Obviously, Changes, and then the last 2 on side 2 I really liked. The thing about David Bowie that always stands out to me is, although he seemed like a guy who never really thought he was cool, he's always been cool. There's always been a reverence for David Bowie. And I think the reason is he's kind of an icon of the counterculture movement, and kind of an example of, if you're trying, you're doing it wrong. I mean, he just managed somehow to be cool and never really realized it. He was in frickin' Zoolander. Okay? Now, that sounds like a throwaway line, but why was he in Zoolanders? Because he was a flippin' icon, and he was an icon where? In the fashion industry, and that's a separate kind of cultural environment going all the way back into the 60s. So if you were going to try and cast somebody in the small role that he had in a movie like that, which is lampooning the fashion industry, but at the same time it's trying to also kind of peel back the curtain on the fashion industry. I know it's a silly movie, that sort of thing, but there's actually a lot going on there. But the fact that they put David Bowie in there as kind of a guy who's above it all, and cool in the movie, and I just think that says a lot about how David Bowie fits into the counterculture, and then in the wake of the 60s counterculture as well. And again, like I said, he does it without trying. It's just automatic for him. Bowie is Bowie, and there can't be another one like him. So that's what I pull away from this record.
Well, Brad, you know Bowie well. What would you say? How could you further that?
Well, I think there was a to the fashion point that he was making there. There was always an element of that there was some kind of, whether it was a stage costume or just something different. There was always something going on there. He joked. He said, "I shop at Sears and Roebuck," but it was never that. But then at some point, it kind of turned into anti-fashion. It kind of, and the reason he chose the name Bowie, his real name is David Robert Jones. The Bowie knife cuts in 2 directions. Yeah, so he thought he could cut against the grain and move back and forth and kind of work his way through the musical world that way. I don't know.
And he can, because he was one of those guys that can make social commentary on things in such a subtle way that if you tried to apply his lyrics or his music, you could apply it in either direction. Yeah, so a singular figure.
So I will go ahead, Josh.
He was just an artist. He was an artist in every sense of the word. I mean, no matter what he did, it was art influenced. Right. He left a mark in it, and I think, as I watched Bowie growing up in the 80s, as soon as somebody said David Bowie was cool, David Bowie went the other way. He would go this way, and then he would find a new group of people, and then he'd bounce back this way. It's kind of the Bowie knife thing, right? Yeah. And he just, I don't think he ever wanted to fit in. I think he always wanted to be the guy that he was just, because he was such an artist, he was so just kind of ahead of the curve that fitting in just kind of became mainstream, and he just didn't, he at no point in his career, I think he ever wanted to be mainstream. Yeah. I think he wanted to be something more than that.
So as to that effect, he was mainstream, but he wasn't mainstream. He still, like you said, he just came across as, right, this is what I'm gonna do, and if it hits,
if it works, it works. If it doesn't, doesn't.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about people that stay true to themselves in their art without bending to commercial success. I know, Brad, you don't necessarily like the 80s and 90s
Not-
stuff.
Well, when coming off the 70s, and what Josh is referring to is he signed a new contract with EMI, and I think, the idea was to sell some records. And so we have Let's Dance. Then we had Tonight, and then we had Never Let Me Down. And those latter two of the three EMI releases are, to me, the weak point of his career. And it was hard to take. And because in the 70s, I thought he could do no wrong. I really did. I thought he just masterfully.
Well, I think everyone
Put
hits
something
that fan, and if you're a fan of a band at one point in your life, your idol is, you put them on such a high pedestal that they're just kings. At some point, you kind of grow up and you realize that was ridiculous. They're just people, and they are.
Or especially when you're young. If you're young, and then all of a sudden, as you get older, right? So your favorite artist is up here somewhere, and they're always up here. And as you get older and more experienced, and you gain more knowledge and stuff, then all of a sudden, you cross paths, and then at some point, it isn't hitting anymore.
Yeah.
You kind of
I think that's well said.
Outgrow the artist.
Yeah, it's very well said.
And he did do the 80s well. You want to go gated reverb ad nauseum in Modern Love, for instance, that sort of thing. But you know what? That's what was selling. That's what was successful. People loved the heck out of it. Those songs charted. So you could say, okay, well, that may be Bowie at his sellout worst or whatever, but you know what he did? He succeeded at it.
Yeah. Some of us
A lot
felt
of people
like
did it though.
Yeah,
it's not
I
a
mean,
shot. It's not a shot at David Bowie at all. It's a lot of people
but
did it.
I mean,
You could
it's something to
say
be said that he was still able to maintain
Exactly.
relevance.
Yep.
I mean, and
60s,
not
70s,
just
80s,
not
90s.
just fall to the wayside to the new
Right.
generation.
Yeah. I think that's well said, all of that. We wondered, that could he restore himself? And slowly that happened. Slowly. We felt like there were moments of that through the rest of his career.
We saw artists like Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails come out and say how big of a fan, when he got big, he came out and said how big of a fan of David Bowie's early stuff he was, how big of an influence that was. And then you just see this stream of artists come out and say, and all through all different types of music, say how David Bowie's 70s albums changed me, influenced me, blah, 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 blah. And you kind of it kind of became this steamroller effect of people coming back. That's where I started listening to, I listened to all the Bowie stuff in the 80s and mid and late 80s, and it wasn't my thing, of course, because it just wasn't. But then when people like Trent Reznor, the people that I idolized, were saying, go back, don't be a jerk, go back and listen to this early stuff, because this is what influenced us. And then that's where I started finding some of this older stuff and really started to enjoy it and appreciate it more. But I also grew up. I also became more cultured, and I didn't walk around with musical blinders on, because the only
No, that's what I was saying. Going back to what I was originally saying, there's always been this undercurrent of people who have been influenced by the music of Bowie, and even though it wasn't an overt thing, he had an incredible influence, and he didn't have to get that overt, lavish praise on him or that sort of thing, any of the sensationalism. He was just doing the thing, and that's why there just is this quiet reverence for him. He's just, I wouldn't say elder statesman, but he's one of those artists that everybody just kind of quietly, yep, that's David Bowie. There's respect there.
So if we deep dive his,
Yeah.
who are his influences? Bowie.
Tiny Tim.
Little Richard. I mean, if you look at his top 25 albums, I mean, there's John Lee Hooker in there, and there's just a little bit of everything. It's such a wide variety of
Makes sense
stuff.
for how
Just
he
kind
was
of-
touching everything.
Yeah.
I read a quote one time where he said that he kind of laughed because he said that a lot of people were trying to figure out what were his influences, and he said, if I were to go out and say, like for instance, the cover on this track, the "Fill Your Heart," around the time that he released his, Tiny Tim had released it as well as a B-side of Tiptoe Through the Tulips. And he goes, so if I would have said the reason why I did Fill Your Heart is because I was influenced by Tiny Tim, he said everybody would be out there going, oh yeah, I can hear Tiny Tim's influence throughout David Bowie's music. So he got a kick out of that, everybody trying to figure him out musically.
Yeah. On the song My Way, there's an interesting story behind it. Bowie's original, I'm going to read this off AI because it's so much more concise than I can just put into words. When Bowie's original English lyric for the French song Comment des Habitudes, I'm sorry if I got my French all mixed up there, but was rejected in favor of Paul Anka's My Way, Bowie was so frustrated that he penned Life on Mars using the same chord progression deliberately. And so if you listen at the beginning, the chords descend and you can actually hum or sing along the words of My Way to Life on Mars. So he was his version was rejected in favor of someone else's.
And now
you know the rest of the
end is near. I was trying not to sing it and get yelled at.
So just a few other things about the pressing. If you get a US pressing, the early ones have a textured cover. It's been reissued a lot of times. Parlophone is the current pressing of it. And those are not bad, but if you be patient and find an original, you'll be much happier, I think. And especially if you can find a British original RCA where they don't use the main man logo on the back. So that's one of the things that they changed this on the back where it says here, Gem Productions. This is a pre-main man pressing.
Well, I heard one time that they had asked him, about this album, and he just said it's Hunky Dory.
Yeah, okay.
Crickets. That's what you get. Crickets.
That was bad.
That was a genuine knee slapper.
Oh my gosh.
Interesting.
So it's time to review the albums, I believe, Kenny, for
On that note,
moving right along.
Well, thanks, Brad. Thanks for that album.
Excellent pick.
Great, but hey, what are our albums for this month? Let's take a look-see.
Oh, here.
Letterman used to have a thing when I worked for the NBC group that he could hit and it would have a woman's voice going, "We are experiencing a lull." We just had a lull there.
Okay, I don't get a chance often to talk about
You don't get a chance.
one of my historical deep dives. Obviously, I've talked about my pop influence and Elvis influence growing up. But then in the early 90s, when grunge came out, I kind of I'm not into this. And so I ended up going country. And I think about that time, Garth Brooks had the NBC special. Okay, and saw that, and I was like, whoa, I like this, right? And so next thing you know, I'm listening to Travis Tritt and George Strait and listen to all that. And then Tim McGraw would come out. And that was Not a Moment Too Soon. That's one of his hits. And so I ended up picking in the late 90s, in the mid to late 90s, one of his albums that I absolutely loved was Live Like You Were Dying. And this song is it's a great song about how we need to, right? Sometimes some people, he tells the story of a character in the song who doesn't really live until he finds out he's got a death sentence, right?
So, live like you were dying. It's about living
right?
like you were dying.
So Live Like You're Dying. And so that's the cover song on this one. And it's a great album, but I love the 90s country. 90s country is huge. You got a lot of 90s country down in here for sale on CD. There's not a lot of it on record, but this is a 20th anniversary of that album right here. That is in the store that you can buy. It's brand new, 180 gram LP. So there you have
Double the weight of the Bowie record.
Yes, double the weight of Bowie. Doesn't mean it's twice as good though.
Definitely not.
Well, I had another album that sold. So that
Sales of the month here.
Oh, but we still got a picture, so there you go. So I picked Avenged Sevenfold self-titled album. we talk about a lot. This is one of those albums that hit certain time in my life. It was impactful. So we do like family trips back and forth with Minnesota, and I have a cousin around my age, so we'd always swap music, and this was one of the albums that he came with. So this was kind of my big leap into Avenged Sevenfold. I also saw them when they were more or less touring this album, and a few years later they come out with Diamonds in the Rough, which has a live concert DVD. So it's like, I don't know, all this just hit so like hard with me, like going to concerts, discovering like like for that time modern day like hard rock, where like you could actually see someone touring. Like so much of my rock up to that point was like, oh, these are my parents' bands. These guys are already like old up on stage. So like this is my first taste of like modern stuff, like young guys up
what
on
did
stage.
you consider old at that time?
My like one of my second concert I went to was Alice Cooper. Like that's old, right? It's great. I know, Mike. I know. Like there should be
Yeah.
some props there.
Alice-
That was my
Alice-
second concert,
Alice
right?
would have been probably old in that.
But like, you know, it was the young guys, and they were touring, and they were getting them like in North Dakota. So that was the other huge thing. Like like bands that I was listening to were coming out with new music,
Mhm.
who were touring, and I could see them.
It was something that you felt like you discovered on your own without your parents' influence. So that
Yes.
would be one of the things that you
Big
latched
time.
onto,
Yeah,
and it became your thing.
yeah.
Mhm.
It was awesome. It was a great album. I don't know. That's one I don't want to go like too deep, because there's a chance I could bring that at some point. So I will move on.
Save some of
Good.
it for later.
Yeah.
Brad?
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, this month I was pranked by our owner of the store, Kenny. There was an album laying on the counter, and he thought it was mine that fell off the rack.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
This is
and
story.
so he
Like,
put
I'm
up
unquestioned.
he put up
Vivaldi.
the Vivaldi's Four Seasons import pressing, and I walked in the store one Saturday and went, "What? That's not it." So what you saw there will be my pick for next time. Clint, thank you so much for updating us. Will be the first Marianne Faithfull album. That will remain up there through the next month. So if you want to vote for that, you can. Featuring the Rolling Stones song "As Tears Go By."
And I bought the Vivaldi. Not really.
Yeah.
Mike?
That takes us to Mike.
All right. So I picked from 1992 the second Offspring album. So this album, we've touched on this point before. Growing up in Bismarck, especially in 80s and 90s, the only time you really got introduced to like rock music at this point in like 1994, the pop punk was if it crossed over into top 40. So at this time, Offspring were getting big with Come Out and Play and Self-Esteem, Green Day with the Dookie album. So that's like up in the upper Midwest. That's like our first introduction to these bands. So it's like that's your perception is that's their first album.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I get Smash and like I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Well, then I discovered that's not their first album. That's their third album.
Yeah.
So you got to get the other albums. This is their second one. And then when you hear it and you realize it's just as good as Smash, and then it blows your mind even, and it's just kind of it's just weird for how things transpire, like at that point in time, at that age, with growing up in Bismarck, how we really were kind of isolated in a lot of ways. If you didn't know somebody that knew something, you had to figure it out yourself. You could hear the songs that were on Y93, but you weren't getting a lot of information. They're not telling you about the bands. Right. They're just playing the song and
on to the next one. So that was just kind of a fun, to discover the Offspring through their hit album and then go back and find that they had other albums. So
That's kind of the Midwest plight. You find something when it finally hits top 40 program format radio, and then you have to go backfill.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun journey and experience. So
Can be. It's a lot easier now than it
Yeah.
used to be.
Yes.
Used to be kind of a chore to do that. All right, my pick was Dawkins' third album, Back for the Attack. A lot of people from the mid 80s know this for the song Dream Warriors, which was on Nightmare on Elm Street 3
Nightmare on Elm Street.
soundtrack, or in the movie. That's fine. I guess that's cool. The video was awesome. George Lynch's Skull and Bones guitar was fantastic. He had that for years before, though. Burning Like a Flame was another hit. That was a staple on Headbangers Ball for a hot minute. And I like those songs, and I always liked Dawkins, but it was when I heard the instrumental Mr. Scary on this record by George Lynch. It was the first time George Lynch kind of was able to go off the rails. On a Dawkins record, there's a lot of, for any rock people, there's a lot of history between Don Dawkins and George Lynch, and the rest of the band. George was a great, big, famous guitar player in the California scene in a band called Exciter before this. Same time as Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen are coming up. So Mr. Scary, the instrumental, was the one. I bought this and then fell in love with this record, Kiss of Death, Night by Night. There's just a lot of good songs on here that aren't Dream Warriors. And Dream Warriors is fine. I liked the movie.
What do you think of Dream Warriors?
Yeah, it was okay. Actually, interesting story though. This was the first CD that I ever bought. So I had tapes up till that point, and when this came out, this was the first CD that I got. So
What year was that? Do you remember?
87. It came out before I got it. I mean, I got it. Yeah. So this came out in 87. So I would have got it. It was a while after it was. I didn't get it on release day or anything like that, but it was first CD I bought.
You know, it's funny you say that too, because for me, I was a cassette person, and when people started looking at got a CD, I was like, man, you know. And then before you know it, everything's CD, and so there was finally came a time where you had to.
So how I came to be, I'd heard those songs. They'd seen the movie, I'd watched the videos, and then one of my classmates came to school with Sony Discman and this CD, and he was like listening to it, and he got to Mr. Scary, so I was listening to it in study hall or something, and I had one headphone on or whatever, however it worked, and he was gonna, oh, this is just a guitar song, I'm gonna skip over it, and I was like, no, let that one play, and then that's what hooked me, and then I had to go get the CD myself. So yeah,
That's interesting. So when you mention your disdain for the way people only know that for Dream Warriors, it's funny because I had the same thing when I was talking about Yellow last month too. It's like, okay, these guys are so much more than oh yeah, and what you want to do is when you have an artist, a group that is really important to you, that's made an impact on you and things, it's like, you don't want to cheapen the experience of others. It's like you want them to have that same appreciation for something that you did. And I see that in a lot of people. So when you were talking about that, I was like, oh yeah, I totally feel that with some of the bands that I listen to that I'm really passionate about. I wish everybody else could see, what I see or what I experience from them.
What's interesting, I guess, on this, you don't have the hype sticker on, but it's over 60 minutes of music feed. I mean, at that time, to get over 60 minutes and sound good on an LP, that was a big deal at that time. So
and I mean, it says featuring "Burning Like a Flame," my favorite Dawkins song.
So that's kind of they were kind of pushing that as a selling point.
That's kind of cool. So a friend of mine, his mom had called him. She was snowbirding down south somewhere, and she said, "Oh yeah, I met this guy at the." So he was at the swimming pool, and he was on the chair next to me, and we were suntanning or whatever. And so I got talking to him, and he said he was in a band and he plays guitar. I thought you'd find it kind of cool. I asked him what his name was. It was George Lynch, and he's like just freaking out. You met George Lynch, and of course this is way back before anybody had cell phones, so it was long after that it happened. It's like my mom met He was so put out that he couldn't have been down there with her and also have met George Lynch.
Right.
So naturally, I'm digging back to the 80s because I was really excited to see this album come in. This is the Outfield Play Deep. So this is a 1985 album. And these guys had a few top 40 hits. And they had kind of some ups and downs after this initial one. Skin Deep is the album. A lot of people know Your Love, I Don't Want to Lose Your Love Tonight, that sort of thing. But out of the 10 songs on here, there are 9 really good songs. And this is a good, they have what I would say is kind of the mid to late 80s college feel. These guys, Material Issue, maybe Smithereens, that kind of thing. And so this is just an absolutely solid album. Their following albums didn't do as well. They did have some top 40 hits. They're from Britain. They have no idea what the outfield means. They originally got their contract as what they called the Baseball Boys because they had kind of an amusement with American baseball. But once they got signed over in the U.S., the label's like, yeah, that name's too corny. So we'll just call you the outfield. They had no idea what an actual outfield meant. And they didn't see one until they came over stateside. But a really good, solid college rock album. And so that's why I picked it. I was excited to see it. This one here says original early copy. So I presume it's in pretty good shape. Obviously, it's here. It's been cleaned. So come down and check it out.
Yeah, one thing I just want to point out for your tip of the week is when Mike pointed that out, many of us serious collectors now, the more serious you get into collecting, you like to have a cover that actually has a shrink wrap on, and what that is you know how your record is wrapped in plastic, like you can see that glow on the TV screen there, and it's got this little sticker on here, and it'll tell you a little bit, oftentimes, about what songs they're trying to advertise to get you to buy the record, and like Mike said, I love that, and I didn't catch that either over 60 minutes, right where it says on there, and so when you open your records, just try to make a little slit there and pull your record out from the side and save this, because now some of us collectors, as we try to get through, I paid $15 to $20 just for an Elvis record for my collection, just to have that hype sticker on it and the shrink wrap. So keep them in good shape, and it's a great way to remember every aspect of that album.
Our winner this month of the vote was, of course, The Offspring.
Mm-hmm.
It was not even close.
Mine sold.
Sure.
Mike didn't like
But-
that though.
Kenny, tell them what they've won.
$1,000.
Oh, there's a draw.
You get a
I'm
1% stock share in music.
The debt of music and more. No, I'm kidding.
Mike, who was
We
our
got
winner?
David Schmidt won this week.
David Schmidt.
David Schmidt, if you're watching, come and tell the story. You get $10 in the store. That is a nice little reward if you've been watching, to come down and put it on one of your purchases. We'll give you $10 off.
Speaking of purchases, Ricky is asking, do you have this Bowie
There's a
album,
lot.
our featured
Oh.
album of the month? Do you
Bowie
have that
movies,
here
too.
in the store?
I do not have a copy. It is hard, just so you know. My emphasis here, and this is kind of a debatable thing for the stores and how they try to succeed and thrive in a kind of cutthroat industry here, trying to do this. My focus has always been on trying to find stuff so people bring it in, and then I'll pay them, and then I clean it and try to restore it and try to get it back to shape. So I do carry some new albums, but I do not carry that one because I have not found a copy. I think I had one in the past.
You had one and it sold.
And as soon as,
Yeah.
like in Bowie, as soon as Bowie comes in, Bowie goes. And so right now, I don't have much Bowie in. It's hard to get some of that stuff. I've got a lot of Beatles albums, but what I can do is I do have the supplier. I have ordered some brand new albums, and it's always easy for me to order for you if you have an album that you want me to purchase, and I'll order it, and then you can pick it up in the store here. And so I know I got a guaranteed sale. We just have so many new distributors already, and we got another great store in town too that does brand new albums. And so, and he's got such a large following already. It's hard to pull his people off with what I'm doing. So my kind of stick is trying to restore this stuff. But I will order it for you if you come in or email me. And I can try to find it and see if I can find a copy. And I've even actually done that too, where I've had some people, they don't want to go through the whole eBay process. or the Discogs process, even though Discogs is a little bit better. And we have this discussion a lot of times because the sellers on eBay oftentimes are just flippers and they don't understand the world as much as the Discog people do, because Discog people are more devoted to the records, to the music, right, to the formats. And so you get a more accurate representation of what you're buying on Discogs, most likely, right, from Discogs than you do from eBay. But what I have done for people, and it does work, is they have told me to find an album. Like I had one of the rare ones, and it was like a TikTok famous Nancy Sinatra album. It was about 6 months ago. A guy came in and his daughter wanted this Nancy Sinatra album because it was one of the latest TikTok crazes. And so I went on to eBay, I found it. And then what I worried about is trying to find a really nice cover because I knew that I could clean it in the store and try to get it like new. And so by the time he got it, it was a really, after I cleaned it, it was almost like new again. And
Cool.
and found a great way to find it for his daughter. So I can also do that. You know, I can do the deep dive for you if I don't have it too. And sometimes I have a plethora in my storage unit in my house, and in here we can dig it out and we can find it too. So
So Bowie comes in and Bowie's out right away. But Tim McGraw, on the other hand.
That'll sit.
Tim's been here a little while now. But no, Bowie doesn't sit too long.
No, honestly, I think Hunky Dory was one of the last ones I was able to add to my collection too, because it took that long to come across one. It's
And some people, we might even say too, and I think you guys have even said this. I know I've had some albums that I've wanted and I just haven't ponied up hoping to find it. Some people just enjoy the thrill of the hunt. They don't want to break down and buy it on Discogs or eBay. They want to find it out in the wild somewhere.
yeah.
Well, it's kind of one of those things, even for me. And I buy things across all spectrums.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to sit me down, ask me right now, Mike, what album do you want to order? I couldn't tell you.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of the appeal to just going to the store and thumbing through stuff and
Yeah.
hopefully coming across something that maybe you forgot about or sparks your interest. You know, it's for me, it's hard to just sit. What do I want to make an order? What do I want to order? I can't think of stuff.
Right.
So just going to the store
And I have seen Mike
Coming
down there
across it.
before thumbing through stuff, and he's pulls out some stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I'll try this one."
Well, going through that with the movie thing, you know, of course now I own every movie on the planet I would probably want, and so it's like, oh, cool, got it. Oh, cool, got it. That's a bummer, but that shot of going through the stacks and finding cool stuff, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, we had a few over the last few weeks. We've had a lot of records come in. I've had 2 copies of Van Halen 1984 come in the original shrink one with the hype sticker. I've got that downstairs right now. I think Def Leppard went right away. Def Leppard's another hard one to find. I don't think I have ever had a store copy yet of Hysteria. That's how hard that one is to find. Again, that's at the end of the 80s. And so when that record comes out, records are kind of dying. And so it is hard to find an original of that one in the wild. But I think, Josh, you just say like you tell the story.
I find them in Phoenix all the time. They're all over.
yeah.
Not, but that we've talked about, it's just market, right? There's just way more people
Yeah.
in Phoenix Metro that have way more stuff than we have access to.
'Cause
So
you gotta think, Hysteria was '87, so it wasn't really. I mean, CDs were starting to come in,
Yep.
but not full force. And that album was huge. So there's a lot around, but we're just unfortunately in a terrible geographic location for a lot of things.
Good
We
point.
are always at the mercy of our denominator, whether it's records, movies, sports, you name it. Yeah.
I think that's, even if you think about it, like if any young people are watching this, right? We're not going to think about it from your aspect. If you really like Demi Lovato, right? Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, it's going to be hard to get those artists into Bismarck. You're just not going to see them here.
How do you do, fellow young persons?
Right? It's going to be hard to get those kind of artists. Unless they're at the end of their career, they're late.
Then they do the casino
They're
next
at-
year.
Maybe we'll get
one
you
of
at
the
the casino.
casinos, the casino chairs.
We might do we get any at the state fair every now and then? We get some decent artists
Sometimes,
over there.
Taylor Swift was at the State Fair in 2009, and she was pretty big at that time, but not like she is now. But so,
Yeah, she's almost in Elvis zone now.
but yeah, I mean,
Oh, she writes her own songs.
Hey,
though.
that was actually impressive. Was that the first? That's
Yeah.
a damn near whole
Wow.
freaking
No,
show.
he said it earlier.
I
Did
did
he?
mention it. I was waiting for
Oh.
someone to say it, but they didn't.
Yeah.
I mentioned it very quickly,
Yeah.
but I didn't focus on it.
Wow.
It also should be noted that 50 million fans could not be wrong.
Wrong.
Kenny dropped another photograph in here, so it's kind of been hovering through our whole show.
It's in the
Gross, I
corner.
didn't realize there was another one.
Yeah, it's been the
And
whole
if you
time.
didn't notice, some of you might notice I bought a brand new Velvet Elvis here behind me.
Is that new?
That's brand.
I felt like there was getting more velvet. This shit's out of control.
That one should have gone.
We
in
need
the
a new
bathroom
venue.
instead of
We need
inside
a
the
new
bathroom.
venue. Elvis's aura is
The Aloha
constantly.
special
It's
needs to
disgusting
go in
as
the
hell. It's so
bathroom.
hot and I feel sweaty. Like I'm
Here's
about
We had
to,
to shut the
like
AC.
I'm about to die on
here's
a
the
toilet.
thing. Look
Because I'm in here.
Look at that
No.
picture. Look at his bicep in that, though. They got him like an Incredible Hulk.
I
Oh
just
my
noticed that.
gosh.
That is
Full
funny.
flex.
Yeah.
He's ripped.
It's like one time I showed this in my church school. I was showing a video of John the Baptist, and they had him like a big bodybuilder, and I just started laughing because I hardly imagined he looked like Lou Ferrigno, you
Hey,
know,
locust
Yeah,
and
video
honey,
cameras.
dude.
Locust and honey, yeah, that's what he dined on.
right?
A lot of protein.
They
A lot
had
of
video
pure
cameras back then, huh?
It's a cartoon.
Oh,
It's a cartoon
oh.
animated, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how do you make John the Baptist like that?
sugar.
You know. So anyway, yeah. So this is, and if you didn't know too, maybe it's a great time because we got a couple minutes left. It's only 7:53. Up here, this is the top floor of Music and More. I've taken some people who've come in here a lot, and some of the customers who are regulars. I'll bring them up here and we'll show them up
Want
here.
to see the set?
This is where the magic happens.
This is where the magic happens for the music. We have
behind the scenes is
Yeah.
the bathroom there.
There's a
That-
fridge.
Little pizza oven.
backside of the
Fridge over
couch.
here.
I'm gonna make a pizza, but I'm gonna leave that album up there and see what happens to it.
Maybe just lay it flat on
Yeah.
top of the pizza oven. Just
But
I'll
Hey,
use
put it in
the
the
album
pizza
as
oven.
I'll use
Put
the
it-
album
put it-
as a pizza.
there you go. Just put
tray.
it in the pizza oven. That would help.
Hey, like it says, 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. Actually, it's like 1 billion now, but.
One of the greatest cover records of all time.
Right?
I'm gonna want to see the receipts on that 50 million fans.
No, and that's actually that cover. If you think about it too, one of the things that a lot of people don't see, and I think we might have mentioned it with one of the things last month, is oftentimes, and I think we did because we talked about when I did the Elvis one, we talked about how the Clash had copied that cover.
Yep.
That cover right there, I know of two people who have covered that one. Bon Jovi did a cover copy on that one, and then Rod Stewart also did a cover copy on that one. So.
I always thought that.
Oh, and it's right there on my table.
Oh yeah, there you go, Rod Stewart one.
I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see it right by the L. If you look to the
Huh.
left on there.
What's the name of that album there, Kenny? 300 fans, can't be wrong.
I always thought that there was
Sorry.
there was a stretch of time where if you were to make a Venn diagram of the overlap between the Elvis fans and the subscribers to the National Enquirer, that would be nearly a perfect circle.
Oh,
Anyway,
The only difference between those three is Rod Stewart and Bon Jovi wrote their own songs.
exactly.
oh.
Bon Jovi had a lot of help.
He did. But he still gets writing credit.
Without Desmond Child, I don't think Bon Jovi's
Or Richie Sambora.
or Richie
Yeah.
is talked in the same regards.
Any other questions
Yeah, we-
Is there any
that
other
might have come
I
in?
don't
Or
think so let's look here.
Make some
No.
questions, people.
Oh, Ricky's pulling his own weight. How about our other viewer?
Thanks, Ricky.
Ricky,
So-
what's your
Ricky's-
question?
Ricky's always watching. We appreciate you, Ricky.
Yeah, we get a lot of people watching late. Of course, it doesn't help when I didn't get the notice till 2 hours. I didn't give the notice till 2 hours on my Facebook on this one.
Yeah, he texted me. He's like, "What's the link for the thing?" I'm like, "Hey, I'll get back
You
to you
don't
on
need to
that."
post a link. You could just post an update. Say, hey,
Yeah, I should have.
Coulda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just did an update. No, so that's on me. We got to get it earlier.
yeah.
But we get a lot of watchers though in as later on. So feel free to make some comments later on still.
who's up next?
Yes,
I believe
The
it's
next album.
Mike. So is there a hint, Mike?
No,
Are you gonna bring that
It's
record in a
undisclosed.
sealed box again?
it's not going to come in a sealed box.
Lock and key?
I've got
It
one
will
you
be.
can use.
It's gonna be a lock and key album that
Dockin?
No, it won't be Doc.
Motley Crue.
I'm saying what it's gonna be.
Good. That's the way we like
That
it
means
around
it's
here.
coming up close to me already. Jesus, I need to start thinking.
Because then it goes Mike, then Lance.
No, then Josh, and then
Then
me.
you,
I'm
then you
after
play.
Josh. But I feel like I had like half a year to prepare, and then it's
You
great.
did.
Time flies by pretty
Well,
goddamn
Well, we've been
quick.
a lot more consistent on our timing
Yeah.
Lately.
We have had a lot less things going
Yeah,
on.
we each only get to pick 2 records a year, so
When
You
is
know,
our next?
I was
one?
torn
We're looking
between
at
3
next
albums
year.
before I finally picked the one I picked. Now I'm only gonna be torn down between 2 next time,
Really?
unless another one pops up in the way, and some have already. I've been on a new Bob Dylan dive lately. These guys are laughing at me again.
Part of me just wants to send you on an unforgettable trip.
Me too.
Here's
Without his cell
so
phone.
so Bob,
Yes.
Bob's gonna be in Mystic Lake on Monday, next week Monday, and you want to go.
Next Monday night.
July 6th.
Yeah.
Oh,
You should go.
But you went last year.
And all we heard
and all we
about
heard
it for
was-
a month is
oh,
how he
Bob,
sat
he sat behind his
piano and
bang
didn't do anything.
So why would you think he's gonna be? It's gonna be better a year older.
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah. Tell us your
Tell
thought
us.
process.
everybody's evolving. Maybe Bob's evolved.
Bob's,
He's got a
He got-
new hit.
He got more spry
Bob's past-
with age.
It's no disrespect to Bob. but I
No,
don't
he's
think-
the only one that
I
had
don't-
a problem with
I
it.
don't think Bob's evolving at this stage in his career.
To anyone who didn't watch that episode, I flew down to Arizona to watch Bob Dylan.
And boy, were
in
his arms
Phoenix.
tired.
And I got to assume, right? He's 80 years old now. Like, he's probably not going to be out
You
there running
didn't
the
care
stage.
about that at all
I know.
when you got back.
I would have liked to see him. All I could see was the top of his head over his piano, you know? And I was like, oh, come on, just come out and say hi to me, you know? Can I get a name in from somebody?
No.
No,
No,
No.
it's not about you.
At least
Jake.
Willie Nelson, when he was out there, you know, they kind of propped him up, you know, like beside like Bubba, you know, on the jukebox, you know. That's a 90s reference country. And he was kind of out front and center. And then when he would start to die, you know, one of the other guys would just jump in and pick him up, like, you know, his son. It's kind of like they had a great cover to kind of hide the 90 years old a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, so Jake was probably busy that night and couldn't come prop Bob up, huh? Is
Yeah.
that what you're getting at?
when did you see him?
What was it, last
It was
April?
Last April, and
Right? It just
April,
went
May. Yeah,
like
April, and May.
this.
Because I was in Phoenix 3 times last year. That was crazy in 4 months. Because I had my golf tournament that I go to, and then I went to Bob Dylan, and my nephew got married. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Anyways.
But anyway, yeah, we're getting off track. It's almost perfect timing now. It's 7:59, and so
Well, we're not beholden to a broadcast calendar. We could,
Yeah.
we could go
We can
all
go as
night.
long as we
night.
want. I'm sure the people would love to hear more about your golf trip. to Phoenix.
so let me see the album cover
We
again.
need some questions.
Don't do it.
Any other
He's gonna do
questions?
his
Let's look
lame
one last
sign-off.
time.
No, we don't have any other questions.
Ricky's got to have something.
Don't do it. He knows what's coming. So as we saw with David Bowie, remember always, right, that in every record there's a story to be told.
Oh,
Kenny's music and more, a place like no other. With records and cassettes, he's a music lover. Blues, rock, country, and more to explore. 10,000 vinyls and memorabilia galore. Come on down to the shop, there's something for all. Step into the world of music and more, where melodies and memories are in store. From Elvis to polka, we have it all. At Kenny's Music and More, you'll have a ball. A teacher and a DJ with a passion so deep. Kenny knows every lyric even in his sleep. His collection is unique, a treasure trove. In Bismarck, Indy, it's the place to just rove. In every record there's a story to be told. Into the world of music and more, where melodies and memories